Hey fam, Master Coach G here on Thriving After 50, Mind, Body, Soul. And as promised this month on Thriving After 50, Mind, Body, Soul, we are changing things up a little bit. So throughout this month, I am going to be featuring special guests. Yes, I am. And I had a wonderful interview already with someone that is going to be coming up. And today, a really, really, really special guest. I want to welcome Phaedra to Thriving After 50, Mind, Body, Soul. Now, yes, Phaedra is my daughter, and no, she is not over 50. But what I wanted to do is I want to make a point that women of all ages deal with some type of health challenges. And so I wanted to get the perspective from someone who has dealt with some health challenges, who is under 50. And I thought what better person than my daughter, since I witnessed her experience a lot of these things that she went through in her health. So, and I'm so proud of the journey on where she is right now. So I want to welcome Phaedra to the show. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I know that the show is about thriving after 50, but I also know that that you had some things going on in your health, and we're going to get to that. But so tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, and I don't want to say I hate to describe myself as this, but my title is mom always comes up first. So I am a mom to a beautiful 9-year-old little girl that keeps me extremely busy. I am also a part-time realtor, also a comedian as well. I had two improv shows this year, so I'm pushing for that. And I also do a podcast
Oh,
with one of my
awesome.
with one of my girlfriends about life experiences called Liz and Faye podcast. And it's just a life podcast. So that's just a little bit about me.
Awesome, awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I'm glad you put that plug in there. I want everybody to know
Yes.
where they can see you at, and I'll definitely get the link so that I can drop it in the chat so that everybody can check you out and your comedy page or whatever information you have. We definitely want to get it out to the audience. So tell us a little bit about your health challenges that you've experienced along the way in your young life.
Well, crazy enough, I think at this month actually is, I believe, 2 years since I had major surgery and I had a hysterectomy, and that kind of set the tone for everything else to kind of flow smoothly. But before that, I had lots of challenges with my health because of my endometriosis. I was in the hospital pretty much every month. Maintaining healthy weight was definitely not a thing, that was non-existent at that time. And the medications I was on was absolutely insane. So that had a side effect of different things. But there were lots of challenges within that diagnosis of endometriosis, of how my health was at that time.
So let me ask you a question. How did that affect your quality of life?
Oh my goodness. Well, no one likes to be in the hospital, especially every month. It was pretty much routine. Um, Quality of life, that situation would take up weeks of my livelihood, because there were challenges before a cycle would hit, or whatever you want to say. It would, I had things called restless leg syndrome, and then you have the migraines, and then there were so many other symptoms that happened beforehand. So you think of it, oh, just a week that you're losing, but for the people that may have endometriosis, it's much longer than a week that you're losing. So when you think of quality, out of 4 weeks of time, if you are in pain for 3 weeks of those four, or you are in the hospital, or you are having these other symptoms of this thing, then I would say there was no quality. And I did, at the time I was active in the gym or working out, but it was very discouraging, because you'd hit a certain goal of weight, and then it would be a repeat cycle every month of you dropping that. So I couldn't maintain anything either. So it was very challenging and discouraging.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that, I think that people do need to understand when I always, because I'm always talking about quality of life, and I don't think that people understand when I say that what I mean. And when you just what you just described, there is no quality of life there. It's like
Mm-mm.
that's crazy. You know what I mean? So when I see people who live this vicious cycle, I'm like, you have no quality of life. Can you not see that you have no quality of life? And it's just crazy to me. So, but to recognize it, to be able to recognize that your quality of life is just so poor. And because my next question was going to be, what made you decide to work on your health?
Well, thank goodness finding, hunting for a doctor that would even perform the surgery, because most people don't want to do that if you're a woman under the age of 40, which is absolutely insane. But they say your body, your choice, but I'm not too sure about that. But um, after the surgery, that's when I was able to get serious about it and set certain goals and have certain plans put in place, because before then I could have a goal and I did have a plan, but I would be set back every month. So I'm not going to say that it didn't really matter, or it was good that I still had that in place, but I wasn't able to fully activate that until after the surgery.
And then after the surgery, you were able to maintain, um, or at least increase what you were doing in order to be able to get to the level where you wanted to be, or just striving to be.
Yeah, so after the surgery, which that was a whole beast in itself, which I'm pretty sure anyone that's had major surgery like that understands the recovery part of it. So for me, my thing was always I always wanted to be at a healthy weight. I was smaller or thinner than what I wanted to be and what I thought was healthy for me. So after the surgery, unfortunately, I got down to probably about 90 something pounds, and that's just from being sick and also recovery and things like that. But probably about 6 months after that, I was able to really start setting certain goals and really being able to pursue that. Of course, after the healing and recovery and things like that. But yeah, I was able to actually put some things in place and to see what I was doing was actually working, which that was encouraging. And that was I think what yeah, because we want to see results.
Of
So
course.
that was something that definitely helped. And getting with the right people that know certain things that you need to do, because I am not familiar with it, training or fitness or health or wellness or whatever you want to say. So getting with the right people so I could accomplish those goals were huge as well.
So and you just mentioned that you didn't know, a lot about it. So what sparked your interest in working out, that part of it? Because I know the reason why you want to change your health, but what sparked the wanting to work out?
Well, years before the surgery, you kind of took me under your wing. I saw, what you were doing in the gym and the changes health wise that it made for your life. And at the time, I was on lots of medication for all of these things. I was on a patch because I had, which was weird, uncontrollable vomiting with cycles, but I was on a patch and then a pill for this and then a pill for migraines and this and that. So I just saw this other lifestyle that you were able to live, and it just intrigued me to the point that I desired that. Not only that, but I wanted to be 50 and healthy and well, not just dealing with what I was dealing with, but I didn't want to deal with the side effects of all that medication either. So it was just, somewhat looking at your lifestyle and desiring that. As far as for me in the future, I couldn't see it right then and there because of all the my mess of my body was dealing with. But it to me it just seemed like, okay, this is another way of life that I didn't know before. I think I probably would go to the gym here and there, and I'd get on the treadmill doing things I had no business doing, because if I'm already thin, I definitely didn't need to be on the treadmill. But I was doing things I had no business doing just so I could say I was going. But and you took me under your wing. It's like, this is what this is what you need to do and how you need to do it. And not only that, but being able to see the benefits long term was definitely something that intrigued me.
Yeah, and it is a journey, and you've been at it for a while, and I've seen like massive improvements in your life and even in your health. And like you had mentioned earlier, you were at the emergency room at least once a month, but um, even the side effects of the medication, and I don't think
Mhm.
that's another thing that people think about. It's like, okay, so you know, they say, I have high blood pressure or whatever, and they take a pill for it. Well, why are you taking a pill? Because it's not fixing the problem. It's like you want to fix the problem,
Mhm.
and you having the surgery was one of the things that had to be done in order to fix the problem, you know.
Mhm.
And so once you fix that problem, then you were able to move on to something else. So let me
And I'm
ask.
on no medication. And I say this because the other day I was at work and I had a slight headache and I still have the ibuprofen that they prescribed me, which is way higher dose than, normal ibuprofen because of the pain that I used to be in. So I just took one of those and it irritated my stomach so bad. And I just thought, I mean, cramps, and I hadn't had cramps in years at this point. So I was just, I mean, again, understanding how my body reacts now because I don't take medication,
Mm-hmm.
um, is completely different. So again, I'm very glad about that because I'm still dealing with side effects of medication that's been in my body 10 plus years ago. So I definitely do not desire to be on anyone's anything. If I can deal with it naturally, there's a way that I can fix the problem naturally, which unfortunately the surgery is not a natural thing, but that's what I had to do to get here. But if I can, any issues that I have now, I would much rather deal with it the natural way.
Yeah, and one other thing that I want to mention when you were talking about the side effects is here you are still years later and you're still dealing with side
Mhm.
effects of something that you took 10 years ago.
Yep, and that is very much true. I deal with hot flashes. I was told when I was in my 20s because of the medication I was on because of the endometriosis that I would be going through early menopause. And I started early menopause years ago, and I'm not yet 50 or yet even 40 at this point. So I have hot flashes, I have night sweats, just like a woman in her 60s would have. I
Yeah.
do.
Yep. And see, and that's the side effects, and that's what people
Mhm.
need to understand is that there are side effects to taking this medication. But the
And
good
they
thing,
didn't know. And I mean, and I'm not, well, let me not say what they didn't know, but when I asked the doctor, from years of having this, I'm just like, because it got to a point where it was irritating. I'm just like, I don't understand why my body is doing this. And they explained to me what was going on. And I asked, well, why didn't anyone tell me this? And it's because it's case by case studies, meaning they don't know who all of the side effects will happen to. It's like, it's like a draw thing, like, oh, well, you picked the shortest stick, so you're in. You know what I mean? Like, so they didn't, not to say they didn't know to tell me, but I don't know if they knew that it would happen to me. And
yeah,
and that's the thing. So half of the time people are on these medications and the doctors don't even know some of the side effects that could possibly happen to you.
exactly. So that's the reason why I think that when you re-examine your health and you think about it, taking high blood pressure or high cholesterol, whatever the medication is, for a long period of time, you have to understand that it's definitely doing damage to your body. But here's the good thing is that you were paying attention and you did see the value in the results that I was receiving in my life, being 60 plus years old, not on any medication at all, able to go to the gym. And I'm glad that you were paying attention enough to be able to say, you know what, hey, I need to do something different and I want some different results. So how has the journey been so far?
Oh man, just like you said, a journey, and just to piggyback off that, and not only do I have a 9-year-old, that's just my minor child, but we've also gotten my other two, especially my oldest, which will be 21 this year, because of he sees the lifestyle that you are living, the lifestyle that I am living. He is now living the same lifestyle as far as wellness and health being a top priority, making sure he's being active, making sure he's in the gym. So it's 3 generations at this point, and it's amazing.
Yes.
But Yes, so it is a journey, and I say a journey because I still have goals of where I desire to be. I'm not yet arrived, and I have long term goals. I want to, when you were here, I think it was May, we were out doing yoga. I'm like, man, I want to be 60 and being able to do yoga with my daughter. Like, that's amazing to me because I see the opposite side of elderly people, and and they could barely get around in their late 60s, and it's just like, so my goals are long term. It is just like you said, it is a journey. It is something that, because it's life, things happen. Unfortunately, I'm learning, and I say unfortunately because it's a learning journey as well. I'm learning my body, as in, some people, when they get stressed, they overeat. And for me, when I get stressed, my body doesn't even trigger me to eat. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to monitor that. I
Yeah.
have to watch that. I also my sleep,
Yes.
which is,
Yeah.
again, it's man. I'm
Yep.
not even gonna get started on that. I am naturally a night owl, and I think I've always been a night person. And I am trying my best to reframe that in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I've now switched. I think I've been at this point, this I think my third month, which I haven't even looked back on it when you say journey, but it started when you all came in May, and I said to myself that I was going to be really dedicated about changing my workout time. And I've been going to the gym early morning ever since then.
That's
Which,
awesome.
again, looking back on it now, it's like, wow, I can't believe that. Which I'm my toughest critic, so I never applaud myself. But now that you asked that question, looking back on it,
That's
it's
a
like, wow,
win, girl. That's a win.
well, yeah. Well, for me, I mean, and when I say go to the gym lane, I'm normally in there like 10 o'clock. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, and now I'm in the bed at 10, which is completely opposite of me. So it's a journey in itself of continuing to learn your body, continuing to, as the Bible says, to transform, or renew your mind, of what you thought. I don't do that, or I'm naturally this way, or I just can't, or whatever the situation. I've had to take those words out of my vocabulary because or I've always been this way,
Yeah.
because it's, when you want something different, you have to do
Yep.
something different. But it is definitely a journey, and
Yes.
that's there's
Absolutely.
no there's no end to this. And I don't know if you've talked about on this show how your grandfather was 109, but when I think about journey, I mean, that's exactly what I think about, being 100, so it's
Yes.
it's it's definitely not going to stop. It's something that I'm continuing to revamp. And
Absolutely.
okay, it's like puzzle piece, like, nope, this piece goes here, nope, this didn't work, so let's try this
Mm-hmm.
here,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's constantly what this journey is.
Yep.
And my biggest thing has been the stress levels, having a little one. I'm a single mother, so sometimes life is stressful. I'm a working single mother, so sometimes life is, lifing, as they say. But I've just had to pay attention to myself to
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, well, this is how you normally handle that. So meaning, if you're trying to get to a goal and be able to maintain this, then we still have to figure out along this journey of how we do this,
Right, right. That kind of goes back to I talked about in the earlier podcast of the three A's of the awareness, the accountability, and then the adjustments. Because once you can do those
Mhm.
three things, then you can make the corrections and you can do what you need to do. And you just answered my next question, which was, what challenges are you facing on this journey? And yeah, being a single mom and
Yeah,
having a
because
little one. So yeah, that's a challenge, definitely.
the workout schedules, I don't have a sitter, I don't have anyone here. So if I want to go to the gym, thank God I have the weights here in my living room. But it's like, making that time, setting that time, and again, prioritizing yourself. Because I think a lot of women, and I've been a mother since I was 17, so all I know how to do is to be a mom. I was a mom before I was a woman, so I've learned how to cater to someone else's needs, and understanding that you have to prioritize your health for your kids, your health and mental for your kids. That's a huge thing. So, a piece of me back in the day, when I had my boys here, it's like, hey, I go to the gym at night, watch her while she sleep.
Yeah.
But it's, now it's, I have to fight myself. No, you shouldn't feel guilty because you're going to do this for you. You shouldn't feel bad because you're taking this time out for you.
Yeah.
So getting over that sometimes is a hump for us mothers as
Yes.
well,
Yes.
because
Yes. That is
when
a
you look at
challenge.
the challenges that you
Yes.
might face, you shouldn't feel bad for taking care of yourself, and it's not selfish at all.
Nope, not at all. And the thing is that it's really, I mean, it's a normal reaction because that's how we are, because we're nurturers by nature. So it is. But see, what happens is when we when we acknowledge that, then usually what comes along with that is the judgment. We start judging ourselves, and that's the reason why we need to
Hmm.
be accountable without the judgment, and just say, you know what, I am going to be accountable for, doing this, this, and this, but I'm not going to judge myself because I can't do it at this time, or whatever the case may be. So, but yeah, that's great that you have found a way to be able to still maintain a healthy lifestyle, even with the changes that you've had to make, and adjusting your
Hmm.
schedule. So let me ask you another question. What are you doing now to improve your quality of life? Because I know you mentioned the sleep thing, and that's really a big thing. Sleep is really a big thing. But are there any other things that you're doing to improve your quality of life?
Well, one, I had to, get a routine. As much as I'm eye rolling over here, you can't see it, but I'm eye rolling because, I feel like naturally, again, getting out again, like I said, you got to break from those. Well, that's just me, and that's just how I've been. Because I feel like naturally, I'm a free spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so having a routine is something that I think my being just goes against. Like, I would just rather, Miles Monroe says, "Say va," meaning it is what it is, or it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be,
Mm-hmm.
just living life, and that's pretty much what I, saw in my head. But having to get a routine, number one, again, and a schedule. I was, not being consistent with my gym days. It was like here and there, and it's like, did I go yesterday? I can't remember. It's like, no, I have certain days I go now.
Yeah.
Like, meaning this is the day, and I don't go on this day, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So improving that, just starting there. But the sleep is where I'm the next thing that I'm tackling,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I've I've observed with myself when, the I'm thinking about the longevity. Not only that, but I believe, and I don't know, so don't quote me, y'all, but I believe that there have been studies shown that lack of sleep when you enter into your 40s, can, there's other conditions
Yes,
that can
yes,
happen
yes.
because of
You're
that,
you're
whether
at
it's
you're at
Alzheimer's, like
risk.
certain
Yes,
things.
you're at risk for
Yes, so
developing Alzheimer's and dementia.
yes.
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 Mm-hmm.
So for someone that's a night owl and can function off 4 hours of sleep, and it's become a routine. Not only that, but when you've been a mom, you're used to getting up in the middle of the night and things like that. But I didn't even know sleep affects your weight too. So
Absolutely.
I just feel like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it could be a thing of you're spinning this hamster wheel because you're thinking, I'm working out, I'm eating right, I'm taking my protein shake, and
Yep.
I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But if you're only getting 4 hours of sleep, you wonder why your muscles aren't growing, or you wonder
Exactly.
why you're not
Yep.
able to, get to the goal you are. So the next thing that I'm tackling right now is my sleep. And trying to get a healthy habit of a bedtime, which I never, like, man, a bedtime. Me a bedtime, that's crazy. But getting a bedtime, and
Yes.
then the next thing is the water
Mm-hmm.
intake.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because I've noticed certain changes in my body, especially working out, that it just requires it more.
Yes.
And I'm trying to definitely get a handle on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've started meditation.
Awesome.
I've done it. I've done it with, implementing my yoga on the weekends, but I've done it at my home and learning how to do it, because it is an art
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, and that's helping my mental. So I'm
Yes.
trying to dive into that part of me. So the water intake, the sleep, and then the meditation are the things that I am currently doing. That's going to help me. And of course, like I said, the routine, start with that.
Mm-hmm.
That is helping me with my improve my quality of life. And I need the meditation because I don't know how many other people struggle with this, but I'm an overthinker, so I'm always in my thoughts. You always used to tell me, stay out of your head, it's a bad neighborhood. And that is true to this day for me, because my thoughts would just get carried away. And, sometimes it's hard to shut that stuff off when
Yes.
you're
Yes.
trying to
Yep.
sleep, or
Yep.
you're trying to
Yep.
rest, and things like that. So all of that, again, back on the sleep, which has to do with my weight, which
Yes.
so
Yep.
it has to do with my mental the
Mm-hmm.
next day,
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm able to, to take in, and to take in, properly. So it's just like it's so many things, but those are the things I'm currently working on to try to improve my quality of life.
And the thing is that in order to be able to improve mind, body, soul, all of those together, because all of those, they do have to be in sync, and I know that people don't understand that, they're all connected, and it's just like all these six pillars, the habits and the water and the sleep and the eating and the exercise, and all those things are important, and they all work together for the total well-being, for the total well-being,
Hmm.
and we all need them, so they're all important. And there were two words that you kept saying. One was habits and the other one was routine. And so I was having this conversation with my coach and mentor, and I just mentioned that the three of them together. I said habits, routines, and lifestyle. So I was just having a conversation. So she's like, "Stop, stop, stop." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "That's you're onto something there." And so it's like, and because that's how it has to go. It's like that's the process. It's like build a habit, then it's going to turn into a routine, and then it becomes a lifestyle, and that should be the goal. That's what you should want to obtain, you know and the six principles, the six key principles are the how.
Yeah, and I think looking at your habits, and I say this because did I have a healthy habit of going to the gym? Yeah, I did. But I go at
Mm-hmm.
night. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, is that yet conducive to what I'm trying to do and
Exactly.
where I'm trying to go?
Yep.
No. Like, as far as routine, so I think breaking down your habits, and
Yep.
I say this because whether it's a habit, I mean, I am, as my daughter says, I always hear you in the pantry at night. I am a snacker at night, and it's late night sometimes. Well, is that a healthy habit to have when I'm trying to go to sleep and build this routine? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's, we have to look at our habits naturally
Yes.
before we can dissect where we maybe want to be.
Exactly. That's the number
But
one step.
I had to look at my habit. I'm naturally a night owl. I like to eat at night. I like to go to the gym at night. I felt like I had more energy at night and things like that. Well, that's not conducive to my 24 hours in a day. I needed to be able to do my real estate and things like that at night. I needed to be able to plan for, my comedy or write for that or maybe my podcast. So I had to switch, like, well, you can't do everything at night
Yeah.
and go to the gym too. So you're going to have to get a healthy
Mm-hmm.
routine established so you can do that. And then, yeah, I'm in the routine part. I haven't gotten to the lifestyle yet. That's graduating,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
I'm in the routine part of building. I've
Yes.
already discovered the healthy habits that I didn't have, and now I've built, better habits for myself, and now I'm trying to make it a routine.
Yes, yes, and that was my next question: is what has been the results of you developing healthier habits and building routines and making, being aware of the six key principles that will shift you into a lifestyle change.
So one, like meaning the results of develop. So me being able to have the routine of I go to the gym on these days.
Hmm.
For me, it feels good because one, it's a weight lifted off when I don't have to go. Like, okay, it's not on my mind. I don't have to feel guilt about not going or I should have went today. No, you don't work out on Tuesdays. That's that.
Right.
Or what, like I don't work out typically on the weekends unless I go to yoga, which I don't think that's really like I love that outside and things like that. So I don't look at that as strenuous as going to the gym 4 days a week throughout the week. So for me, building that routine helped me as far as healthier lifestyle and not having to worry about, like I said, not feeling the guilt of, oh, I didn't work out. Like, no, this is my routine, these are my set days. Also the healthier routine of going to sleep early because I'm no longer at the gym at 10 o'clock. That is definitely helping with my sleep, which again, we are physical creatures, so I want to look good too. I don't want to look like I've only gotten 4 hours of sleep for the next 4 years. So I mean, I think that is, that is helping me physically as well, as far as building that routine of sleep and things like that, as far as the lifestyle. But I just think just being the awareness of it all,
Hmm.
and understanding that there are certain things, but I don't know if it ever ends. You
Oh
know what I
no,
mean?
it
I just
doesn't.
think you just graduate.
Yes,
Like there's,
yes.
because
Next
I mean, my
levels.
daughter she won't always be
Yep.
9. So it will, like, what will the excuse be then?
Right.
Like you, so it'll be like, okay, well, this is the reason why I'm trying to build this routine now, so therefore I can continue it.
Hmm.
But it's helped with my mental. Again, switching the schedules and having my behind in the bed early has definitely helped me be more mentally sharp, and allowing me to get that sleep. I still have to work on shutting it down. I know you're big on that, like an hour before bed. There's certain things you don't do. I haven't graduated to that yet. I'm working on that. But I know that there, like I said, it's a lifestyle. So there's always going to be things that I can improve
Of
on
course.
and tweak and things like that. But it's helped so much. I've seen my growth in the gym, meaning muscle wise and things like that, from the increase of sleep. Also the being more dedicated as far as the morning workouts, because sometimes in the evenings, you're tired from throughout the day. So a lot of the times when I was going, it's just to be able to say I went, opposed to getting my day started and really getting that burst of energy in the mornings, which helps me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I think I had coffee one time this week, and that was only because I had a 5:30 workout that morning. But other than that, I used to be a coffee drinker almost every day, and I really don't anymore, which I was trying to get away from anyway because of the sugar and things like that that's in that. But there's just certain things I've noticed with my body that have changed just based on healthier, like I said, whether it's the sleep, the
Yes,
drinking water,
yes.
the routine that I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
build, of just a different life in comparison to this night owl life that I had.
Yes.
I there would be times 12:30, 12:30 used to be the earliest that I used to be in bed. And again, I'd have to be up by 6:30. So it's just like, if that's the earliest, sometimes, I mean, again, there'd be time on the later side where it's like 1 o'clock. It's just like, this is not conducive to me 20 years down the
Nope.
road. And that's what I had to
Exactly.
understand.
Because the thing is that you develop the habit, you develop the routine, and then now it becomes a lifestyle. So people, just like you
Hmm.
can do it in a good way, it can also be in a
One
reverse.
way.
It can be in a
Hmm.
reverse order.
It's
So
two
so so
lanes.
twenty
It's two
so 20
lanes.
years from now, you're trying to break this habit. It's like forever. I used to sleep on my stomach, and it was like it took me like 9 months not to reprogram my mind not to sleep on my stomach. So it's like, you have to reprogram your mind for stuff like that. So yeah, it's yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it just doesn't happen overnight, and you do have to
Oh
practice, and you
no.
have to work at it, and that's the thing, it takes work. It's work.
Well, I mean, again, I'm not like getting, first of all, getting up any earlier than what I have to get up is rare for me. So for me to get up earlier to be somewhere else, meaning I have to get up, go to the gym, and then still get up and go to work and get ready and things like that, that was definitely not my nature. So I had to, but again, coming out of that, limited thinking or limited belief of this is just me, or I can't do it, or that's just how I am, or
Mindset.
whatever the situation
Mindset.
is.
Mindset.
Yeah,
Yep.
I had to renew that,
Yes,
because it was
ma'am.
just like, okay, well, if you are trying to get to these other goals, then you're going to have to free up some time. Well, the only way for you to do that is to really look at your 24 hours, as you say, go 30 minutes by 30 minutes or hour by hour, and say, well, what the heck are you doing throughout your
Yep.
day?
Yep.
What are you doing, and how can this, how is this going to help you in the next 20 years? Well, the way I was going, and again, the studies that show, people that, as you get to your 40s, and lack of sleep and all the challenges that can happen, 20 years from there, I didn't want to be there. So I just said, you know what, I got to figure this thing
Yep.
out.
That's right. Because I'm gonna tell you, if you don't, when you get to be 50 plus, things are gonna start to change, and you want them to, you want to be able to maintain good health. I mean, and that's the key right there, is looking good is great. There's nothing wrong with it. That's just an added benefit. But the key is to maintain good health. Nobody wants to be on 10 different medications and at the doctor's office 3 and 4 times a month. Nobody wants to deal with that. So yeah, whatever it takes to improve the quality of life, and the 6 key principles, I'm telling you, those to me, that's gospel. I mean, it's like, taking a fish out of water. A fish cannot live out of water. It cannot. Okay. A tree cannot live out of soil. You know what I'm saying? So these are principles that we need to live by. We all
Hmm.
need to renew our minds daily. Even the Bible tells us that. That ain't my word. I'm just telling you what it say. We all need to
Hmm.
look at our habits, because our habits determine, it really does dictate our life. It really does, whether we realize it or not, but
Hmm.
our habits dictate our life. Okay. And then we need to become more active. That's another principle. We can't just keep sitting around. God made us to be mobile. So, yes, we have to get up and move. Then we need our water intake. We got to pay attention to that, not just because it's hot, but because our organs need the water to be able to function properly in the way that they need to function,
So one, not to interrupt, but one time I went to the chiropractor office and we were talking. It was probably about 11:30. This was my appointment time, and I think I came in there with my coffee or whatever, and I was asking him about like coffee or protein shake or smoothie, something like that. And he was like, "Yeah, I typically make that at the house." And he was saying something along. And I was like, "Oh yeah, this is the first thing I've had this morning." And he was like, "You wake your organs up with coffee?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh my God." Like I had never thought about it like
Yep.
that. And I was just like, well, I mean, meaning it was a busy morning. I really didn't think to myself, well, I didn't have water at the time. I just knew, oh my God, I got this appointment. Let me hurry up, grab some coffee and get
Yep.
out the door. And I did not think to myself, wow, you really woke up your organs with
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah. Yep.
And that to me stuck it. So ever since then, it was like, nope, you need it. So I have this big cup in my office. Like, nope, you need to finish this cup of water. And most times, like I said, I don't even have coffee anymore. I've only had it once this week, but that was a huge moment for me. So I don't care if it's juice. I don't care what it is. I'm not going to wake my organs up with anything else other than water.
Absolutely.
It's like that's the least I can
Yes.
do for you guys since you've been asleep for 7 8 hours or whatever have you.
Exactly.
The least I can do.
Exactly. So yes, that's why all those six principles are so important. So listen, we're gonna wrap this thing up. Do you have any closing remarks that you would like to leave everybody with?
Listen to everything she says. She is amazing, and she knows exactly what she's doing, and she not just talks it but she walks it, and that is all I have. They better listen because you are here to share the gospel, and you know how to achieve it because you've
Yep.
done it, and you are on a journey to get everyone to knowledgeable, and to get them in a healthy lifestyle, and wellness and way of living.
Absolutely. That is the goal. That is my goal daily, daily. Listen, I appreciate you being here on Thriving After 50 Mind Body Soul. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Even though you're not over 50, let me say that again. But y'all have heard all the challenges that she dealt with throughout her young life, being 38, and it was really tremendous even to sit back and watch it. But thank God she is where she is now, and I appreciate her sharing her story. It was absolutely amazing. Hey, listen, that's what I have for you today. I hope this episode has added value to your life. Thank you for joining me here on Thriving After 50 Mind, Body, Soul. But before I leave, let me give a shout out to my listeners here in the United States, Canada, Belgium, UK, Mexico, Russia, France, Brazil, Ireland, India, Bangladesh, and Australia. And the list is
Woohoo!
continuing to grow. Listen, if this podcast was a benefit to you, please subscribe, follow, write a review, shout out to me, let me know what you want to talk about. And I really appreciate you listening. And remember, knowledge applied is power. This is Master Coach G, and I will see you on the next level.